Howdy, welcome back for more Minecraft, and today we're going to build up our auto crafting. And I'm going to show you what I've done to get access to all my inventory without building drives yet. So, let's get going. Alright, so first, I'll show you that I have access to my entire inventory. Everything that was in my RF tools storage is here. It's awesome. And as you can see, I don't have very many drives yet. So the way we did that, if I run up to this level up here, is we actually used a storage controller from the sophisticated storage mod. The sophisticated storage gives us these really nice diamond barrels here, and they hold a lot of stuff. That's why we were using them. That, coupled with the RF tools storage, allowed us to have wireless access to all of our storage here. This block right here is kind of like the RF tools storage scanner in that it scans all of the sophisticated storage drawers that are connected to it or around it. So that block can see all the inventory that we were using. And we've got that connected using an ME storage bus, which allows input and output of items, which is nice. That works perfectly for what we're doing. And it's a nice temporary stopgap while we build up our auto crafting to be able to make the drives we need for us so we can get away from this system. Also, I've changed where our mined resources are going. We're now using compacting drawers, which gives us access to iron ingots and iron blocks without having to craft them one way or the other. You use that with a storage controller from Functional Storage, same people that give you the compacting drawers, and that allows you, if I pick up this linking tool and we link it to this, you can see all those drawers there are linked to that controller, which works out really nice. That right there, that block is also connected using a storage bus, so we have access to all of our resources. That was just done by running a cable down through here, up behind it, and up this wall here to connect. It works out really well. I'm really happy with it. And we've done that in a couple of other places too. Let's see if I can find it here. I believe it's next floor up. We're also able now, because of the way this works, to add, oh crap, it's actually down on the next floor down. But all of these are connected to another storage scanner that's reading the compacting drawers and the drawers in general to give us access to all of those resources. So that's got us all set up. We are ready to go. We have moved away from the RF tools setup, which it pained me to do that at first because RF tools has been very, very good to us. It's done very well, and I'm very happy with it. But, it's time to move on. Alright, let's put this back. Just going to plonk it down there. And I like for them to be upright because I don't know why, I just do. So, oh, and I got to show you this. This switch does absolutely nothing. I just love it. I'll turn the volume up here so you can hear it. It's just a hilarious sound. Everything else in this mod pack is great. Sound engineering and really high quality, and this one block is just... I don't know who made that sound, but whoever it is, I love you. Thank you. That is there just so I can hit that and laugh. So we've got this all set up. The next thing we need to do is set up our auto crafting. For that, we're going to have to set up some pattern providers and molecular assemblers, as well as some crafting processing multi-block units. Those blocks are all in here, and we're going to do 7 of the multi-block crafting processing units here. And we're going to do a couple of large pattern provider and molecular assembler setups. Those are all going to be done over here. Right here is going to be another a crafting processor setup right here. All these single blocks here are going to be a crafting processing setup, and these 2 here all the way up to the ceiling will be a single block of pattern providers and molecular assemblers. And same here. I have them both separate because I want to be able to walk between them and get access to each pattern provider. And if I make it a larger block, you won't be able to see them. But you'll see what I'm talking about when I get it built. Now, I think we're going to switch to a time lapse because the building process on this is going to be rather boring. Let's actually build one though, so we can actually see what it is. We're going to grab all of this. Okay, so the way this is going to work, we're going to tear this one out. Yeah, we'll tear this one out right here. And we are going to put 3 up here and 1 right there. Those are the crafting processing units. They allow for whatever pattern this processing block will be working on to work on different aspects of the recipe. So say if I want to do a 256K disk drive, that's going to require a whole bunch of 256. Let's see if I have one here. These storage components. And if we look at those, we'll just click right on this here. You'll see that that requires 1K. So I'll have to make the 1K. To make the 1K, I'll have to make the logic processors. To make the logic processors, I'll have to make the silicon, printed silicon and the printed logic circuit. Those ones. That's it. So that's 4 or 5 steps, multiple recipes just to be able to make the 4K one, and each one requires a whole bunch of previous steps beyond that. So this means it will be able to handle 8 actual sub processes for everything, and it'll be able to handle it more quickly. We're going to throw a memory block right here, and we're using the 256K crafting storage, which means it can hold a larger recipe with more crafting steps. And then we're going to throw in a monitor. And what this monitor does is that will allow us to see what this crafting processor is actually working on. All of these need to be shaped in a square or rectangle shape. If I add a block right next to it, it will break. If I were to actually fill this in and put more of this in there, then it'll become solid again. But that's one unit. It will only process one recipe now. I don't want to use that many resources on this because I don't need that big of a processing unit. That's actually excessive. So I think this is probably the biggest unit you're going to need to make. Maybe not the biggest unit you want to make. Personal preference. You do you, man. you just saw that time lapse and how everything was connected. And I did have to make a few changes. This area here, we wound up having to run the cable underneath because for some reason that is what was causing it to not actually pick everything up. For some reason running it on the sides just didn't work. Everything's working now. And all of these, I actually connected this up backwards. And somebody may have caught that, but you need to make sure that the colors, the color code on it, are facing the outlet. So right now, this is the cable that's connecting all of the crafting processors, and then it's outputting its signal into the rest of the AE2 system through this cable. So it's outputting towards this, and that's where the colors are. You need to make sure that the side that's going to your AE2 system is the side with the colors. Now, that's all ready to go. And I don't know why that's that way, but that's the way it is. It's just going to have to be coming up from the bottom to make it work, I guess. Maybe somebody down in the comments can explain this to me better. Now, the next step that we have to do is we have to install the inscribers and the charger. And we need to do this so that AE2 can create all of the processor units. We're going to do this along this wall, and I'll quickly do a time lapse of placing all of these devices on the wall. And actually, I'll just place them all on the wall and we'll be right back. All right, I went and I placed all the blocks on the walls. Matter of fact, 1 second here. I'm going to plug this hole right here. I didn't need that hole, but I made it anyways. Now, what we need to do is we need some import buses. We need some, well, we need all of the pattern providers. Now, each of these advanced inscribers can take patterns in on this side, but they export on this side. So we want pattern providers on this side of all the inscribers. And we want a pattern provider on this charger. The charger can import and export on any of the faces, at least as far as this system is concerned. If you're setting it up with just mechanism plumbing, you should use the bottom of this as your export. Okay, so on here, this side, since it's going to export on this side, we need an import bus to import items from the outlet of this into our ME2 system. And these can import, export on all sides. So we're going to actually load up both sides of all of these machines with pattern providers. That way we have twice as many patterns we can give to each of these machines. So I think that all makes sense. Now, this right here, we actually need to put a cable anchor right there because we don't want the cable to connect to that. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. Now we need the dense Fluix smart cable, smart Fluix cable, and we need to go underneath. This will be able to run. Okay, we'll get that in a minute. Oh, but I'm on the wrong one. Oops. Wrong cable. Give me that back. The dense cable is going to run all the way underneath it because the dense cable can handle 32 channels. And this will give us We look here, 4, 8, 12, 16, plus an additional 6 and 5. So 16 plus 11 gives us 27, which is well under that limit. And we'll have to have that come up there. Oh, we need one more anchor. Right there. Now we're going to switch to the Fluix cable, just regular smart Fluix cable. And we're going to run up each one of these. These Fluix cables can handle 8 channels. And so right here it's only handling 3. Right here it's handling 6. Right here it's going to handle 6 as well. And right here it's going to handle all 8 channels that it can handle. And on this end it's only going to handle 4. So none of those cables will be overloaded once we get the whole thing up and running. Now we need a cable there, and we need the P2P tunnels. Shouldn't have put that cable in yet. P2P tunnel. Actually, I'm going to switch that up a little bit. You take that out, take that out. Give me that. We're going to put that right there. We're going to put our P2P tunnel right there. And this will import into the P2P tunnel. Now we also need power. And power is going to be the only issue we have. My hope is that we can come in right here and connect power this way. No, not there. Give me that back and that. There we go. So now this will connect the power to it. Now we should be able to just program this, and all of that will be online. And again, just to program this, you just go to your card here, your memory card, shift right click on this, and you can see it's stored its pattern. To be honest, I had to re-record this, so I have a pattern over here that is not linked. I just need to find it. You know what? It doesn't even matter. I'll just put a new one in. Oh no, here it is. Unlinked. Just right click on that. Now that should be linked and online. So if we come back over here, you should see 1 of 8 channels coming out, 27 of 32. So that's perfect. We are all up and running. Now we can plug up our holes. There we go. Come on, let me, there we go. All right, that's better. Now we'll plug in the floor here. Oops, that's not where I wanted that, but oh well. Okay, and I can actually bring this up and plug all these sides in so you can't even see the cables here, which actually makes me happy. But the only downside of this is I will have to take these off to put the patterns in, which I will wind up doing. So yeah, I'll just take those off now because I still have to put patterns in here. And aside from that, I kind of gotta fix my little screw up here and get that Right there. Get that out of there. All right, we got everything. So I will be cleaning that up and making it look a little better. For now, though, we can put our plates in. One silicone press. Yes, inscriber, calculation. There we go. There's all 4 of our patterns. We'll go ahead and put those in now. Put the silicone press here. We'll put the we'll put nothing in here. That'll be the assemble one. Put that in there. Okay, those are all set. Now we can come in and we can actually make some patterns and put them in there, and it will make them. All right, so I was going back and editing this, and I realized that I really sucked at explaining exactly how I did the patterns and what they were laid out for. So this right here is the encoding terminal, the pattern encoding terminal. You're going to need a bunch of these blank patterns, and you're going to come in and say, for instance, we need 256K drives, storage cells. Sorry, so 256K item storage cells. Those are going to require the storage components. Now, we can make this pattern right here, but to make that, we need the 256K storage component. So we're going to go through and we're going to look at what we need here. Well, we need the 16 for 1K storage component. We'll look at the 1K storage component. Now, looking at the 1K, because we know we need that way back at the beginning. Okay, so we're going to add that. We need Certus quartz, which we have. We have charged Certus quartz too. The charged Certus quartz, we can actually make that a pattern too. Now, the way we do that, if we come in here and we go charged, we're just going to grab one of these, and we're going to grab Certus quartz, and we're going to grab one of these. One, not two. So we're going to come into the pattern encoding terminal. We're going to put this right here, and we're going to get this right in the output. Oh, we're in the wrong one. This is a processing pattern. This is something other than a crafting table. First item is a Certus quartz. Second, the output is a charged Certus quartz. We can set that. Now that can go right into the pattern provider that's going into our charging station. Now we're going to clear that out. The other thing we're going to need, if we just go 1K, because we're focusing on the 1K for now, is we're going to need the logical processors. The logical processors are created in an inscriber using a printed logic circuit and a printed silicon circuit. Let's focus on the printed logic circuit. That's the first step. Okay, the inscriber logic press is already in the machine and we want it to stay there. So we're going to remove this so that the ME system ignores the press and just focuses on throw in an ingot in the second spot and output a logic circuit, and we'll encode that. So now we've got the pattern for the logic circuit, the pattern for the charged quartz, and now we're just going to need the printed silicon, and that's going to be the same thing. We're going to get rid of the press, just going to throw silicon in and output printed silicon, hit the encode pattern, pull it down, and we're going to need that. So now we've got all the components here for this, so we're just going to add this in here, and that's just going to grab a printed silicon, or it will create one because we do have the patterns for it. If we don't have these, it will create them for us. We just encode, grab that down here, and then there's one more recipe, and this is just a crafting table recipe. Now if we come in here, we can actually add this right here, and we can put just Certus quartz in here because we don't need this charged Certus quartz. We didn't really need the recipe for that, but we made it anyways. That will give us the 1K ME pattern. And honestly, you can probably come up here and just hit this here, substitutions enabled, and then it would probably grab the regular Certus quartz rather than the charged Certus quartz because it will allow for substitutions. So if we put that in there, it will grab either one, and it should work. We're not going to encode this one because we don't need it. We're just going to hit the clear button here and move on. Now, once we've got the 1K, we're going to need the 4K. And the 4K ME storage component is 3 of the 1K that we just made, some quartz glass, and a calculation press. We already went through that. It's the same process as before, except we're making the calculation circuit. And so you're just going to go through and you're going to find the ones you need and you're going to make those patterns. I've already made all of these patterns. So let's show how we put them in here. If we come down here to the machines, you can look at the pattern provider right on the side of the machine, and we've got the pattern for the calculation circuit right here. It will just make these, bring them back into the system. And down here we've got the logic circuit and the engineering circuit. Over here, we're actually making the silicon presses, so we've got that one in here. This one right here is making the charged quartz for us. And you can see that one is it's just the same as one we made over here. So it will just make those and pull them back out. And in this one, you can see we've got all of the patterns for all the finished processors. Now, those are the machine specific ones. You're probably going to want to add them right on the side of the machine like that. But you can add them in here. The reason why I've added them on the side of the machine is because we've got 4 inscribers here. Sorry, 5 inscribers. And you can't tell which one has which press in it until you go and you look at, I can see that this one's got the logic press in it because it's got the logic circuit in there. This one has no press in it. But when you get down here to the molecular assemblers, and that's where you're going to put any of your crafting table patterns, like this one here, the 1K ME storage component, which we've got right here, is the 64K one. You're going to want to focus on putting them down one column at a time and kind of spreading them out logically, because this is one pattern provider, and it can only speak to a couple of molecular assemblers at a time. This is another pattern provider. If you spread them vertically in columns, then it spreads them out across many pattern providers and allows for much better distribution and allows for much quicker work. So you're going to want to spread them out across pattern providers as much as you possibly can. So I hope that makes sense, because right now we are able to make a 4K. Let's focus on the 128. Or no, sorry, 256. You can see we've got several of them here, but these are all full drives here, and we've got 45 empty. Let's go ahead and we'll queue up 10 more of the 256K ME storage drives. We'll click on Craft, click 10, click Next, and it will try to assign automatically one of the CPU units that we built downstairs. And it will tell you which ones are available if you click through them. You can see all of ours are enough to be able to make this. So we're just going to tell it, okay, automatic start. And if you come in and look here, you can see what it's doing. Right now, it's making all of the silicon, printed silicon, and all of the logic circuits. and then it will start assembling them. We need 810 logic processors. And it will go through and start actually making our 10 256K drives. You can see it's processing multiple things at a time, so it's not like things are going slow here. It's going as fast as it can. It's just going to take a while. It's going to take a little over 3 minutes. So we'll come back once we've got those, and they should pop right into those ME drives there. But for now, I want to show you something kind of neat. I did not realize this. I thought this was just a component used in making different mechanism components or mechanism blocks. It's not. It's actually a mechanical pet. Toggle it to follow, and it will just follow you around, and it's kind of cute. And you can tell it to go back home, and it'll go sit back down on the charging pad. You can change its name, change its appearance. They don't have very many skins here. They've got, as you can see, pride-based skins. I'm just sticking with the default because I like it. And you can also tell it to pick up items for you. So if you're dropping items and your inventory is full, it will pick things up into its own personal inventory, which you have access to right here. It's also a mobile crafting table that will follow you around, a mobile smelter that will follow you around. I'm assuming it's an electric smelter. I haven't tried it yet. And a repair station, so you have a mobile anvil. I'm probably going to wind up setting one of these up in a place where I use an anvil a lot and just leaving it there because it will just be an anvil that stays working all the time and doesn't break on me. So, yeah, I think they're kind of neat. And it's kind of neat how they just follow you around. So, anyways, I thought that was cool. Teleport him back home. He'll stay on the charging pad. And we'll see if any disks have popped into drives here. No, not yet. And I just wanted to point out while it's going through this that you can see how it's finishing crafting up. It's got 40 of these left to do, the 1K, and then you'll see it come in and do a couple more of these. Yep, you can see it just kind of pop through the process there. You can actually watch the process go and actually see how it builds things. And I find it kind of neat to watch when you're watching a big recipe build out like this one. So that is the end of them. Now we can come over here and we can look, and you can see it popped all 10 of them into this drive. I don't know why it put them all here, but it did. Sometimes it's haphazard, sometimes it puts them all together. Doesn't seem to matter. Anyhow, I thought that was really cool. And if you have any questions about the auto crafting or how it works, feel free to shoot me a question down in the comments, and I will do my best to answer it. I am not the best at this, but I've been going through quite a bit. So I've learned a lot in the last, I don't know, week that I've been working on this system. Anyhow, if you have any questions, shoot me a comment, and I will try to respond in a timely manner, because there's actually more to this that I haven't shown, like using this to create fluids, like, say, the gold chemical that we're storing in the chemical disc. That's I just found that out today, and it's rather neat. And it wasn't part of the original build because I had to reshoot the whole end of this video. And this was going to be part of the next video. But basically, it's a pattern provider that is putting the pattern in to be able to create all of these chemicals. And an ME import bus to grab chemicals out. It's rather neat, and I'm rather happy with it. So anyhow, I think that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to join me for the next video when we look at some of the more intricate and more entertaining types of auto crafting, using placing blocks in the world and interacting with different types of blocks. I think it ought to be fun. I look forward to seeing you then. See ya.